That works right.
Thank you.
Turn around. Okay.
Giovanni?
Hello.
Giovanni?
Yes, sir.
Turn that light on right there.
Yes, sir. How are you today?
How you doing? Hey, man, what's going on?
Hey, huh? Well, here's the audience.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. Where am I going? Over
Oh,
here?
this way.
Yeah. What's up, my man? Good. How you doing? This way over here.
I'm Don.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Kirby.
Yeah. And Malik's doing his job. He's like, everybody must sign.
Mike's outside.
Yeah, he's outside, Ashton.
Okay. That's cute. This chair right here is it needs to be used or what's up?
I think I'm gonna check with it.
How does it feel to be 76, JB? How does it feel to be 76?
Well, the night I shot Friday night and had a video and photography, and at first I was kind of scared about this, and then God kind of hit me and said, look, you've been doing this for too long. You know, just drop your fears and get back in it. And that's what I did. And that's what I feel, getting back in it, because, you know, every moment is precious.
Every day I wake up and I thank God I woke up. Because you don't have to wake up.
Yes, sir. Every moment is precious. That's why I look at it. And, you know, I started awakening. That's when art to me is, I'm trying to capture the cerebral and spiritual and God, you know. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Brother Kirby.
God is good. Thank you.
Brother Don.
How you doing?
Game's all here now. How you doing, man?
Everybody? How's everybody
What's
doing?
been going on, sweetie?
So how old are you, 25?
Yeah. 25 plus. Yes, sir.
How you doing, man? Well, I mean, what's up, brother?
It's my brother right here. After we settle down. What's that? Yeah, we're going to shoot and all that. You know,
Yeah, no Kevin. You know Kevin. I don't know if you remember me. What's up, Kevin?
Came in Black Kaleidoscope a while ago.
Yeah, I remember him. GT Alexander.
I can tell Alexander all up and down. How you doing, GT?
I'm great, man.
You looking well, son.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
All right, how's your mom doing, brother?
Oh, wonderful.
Shall I say hi, Miss Bailey?
I will.
Yeah.
I'm with her every day.
Hey, brother. How you doing, brother? God bless you.
Good.
How's your brother? He's doing okay, man. Yeah, he's getting older. But he's doing just fine.
Yeah, he used to come to our parties a lot.
Oh, that's him.
He used to play music behind his mouth and all that back in the day.
That's
Been doing Sunny for a long time.
really. Okay, I never knew you were Don's brother.
Are you just
I can
seeing-
tell now. Yeah. I remember seeing you look familiar.
Yeah.
To be honest about it.
I moved incognito, man.
That's okay. Brother, y'all cool, man. Cool people.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
So, man, come on down. So, welcome.
Thank you.
Bless your heart.
Thank you.
He's doing all right.
I think Don's kind of reluctant.
Okay, if you can sit in the audience, thank you so much. Right when Don come back in with the
100%.
What's that again?
How many pieces do we have?
I would say we did over 102 yesterday, and that's not
And that's-
including some of the stuff in the room.
There's even more.
So I would say like a 150 would be safe.
Yeah, and
Because
that's-
of the stuff in boxes that we didn't get out, just because of available space.
Yeah, so I pay it every day.
Okay. His output during the pandemic, he was doing a piece a day during the pandemic from 2020. Like,
Oh, we got John Cherry.
I stayed by me, you know.
That's so
I
wonderful.
don't around anybody.
John Cherry,
For 2
this
years.
is legendary.
I didn't take pictures for
This
2
is
years.
such a big deal.
I didn't take pictures for 2 years. I just paint. And I had never had an opportunity like that because I worked shift work all my life. You know, like it,
cool.
you change
What you
shift
doing now?
service.
Change batteries out now?
I went back to okay, cool.
Gotcha. We're gonna change the batteries now so it won't die
Okay.
in between them. So we get started.
I missed. It was a John Cherry.
It was. It was
Yes, sir.
Somebody else, I forgot. I'll find out real quick
Thank
what
you.
institution.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering if we could scoot that chair.
No, right here.
Maybe we could put this.
Oh,
Put this right here.
oh my God. Yeah, I think I got a picture of you.
Nominate.
Welcome, welcome.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm trying to move out the way.
George. George. I'm trying to think of
Hey, you done the camera?
What's happening, Brandon?
In the car. You need to be prepared.
What's happening?
Touch that.
She won,
I can get it. How you doing? Hey.
You can sit down.
So when shift work, that's when I do these big pieces. Okay, I come home, pick all the shields, section.
39.
So our audience is right here. We're starting early. You're about to come up.
I would feel
Well, hello, guys.
How you doing,
Birthday
Tommy?
baby.
How long ago was that? 40 years ago. 40 years. Oh, wow.
table full of samples, and that's what you look at.
Uncle, you come on, get in your spot.
I am as soon as you start.
Yay! So happy.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Who's the birthday boy? Wait a second.
Oh, right here.
That's you? Oh, so great to meet you. How old are you?
I'll be 76.
On the 14th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vinci, what's up, man? Wow, this is great. This is much like you.
Yeah.
Oh, good, man. Good to see you twice.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Let's see.
Microphone check,
Because
one,
he's
two.
in trouble like sometime last year.
Who's this?
Oh, the reason I had to stop going to trouble.
Oh, I see. We haven't met yet.
Ah.
You're new.
She's
Oh,
like,
so pretty. Hi there.
she's like, I'm with my, all morning it was like, I'm with mama.
Yeah, she didn't want her
She
daddy
lets
either.
everybody
She
know.
wanted, she was me.
All right, so we are going.
Let me know what I can do.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
All right,
Sure. This is what we gonna do today.
Somebody sit
My
here.
name is Yamaya.
Hey there, I'm John.
GT Alexander.
GT Alexander. John Cherry. Nice to meet you.
Oh, met your friend.
Oh, wow.
Long time.
Keep throwing me
Patriots, you know, compadre.
Yeah. Need lots of strong
Told a lot of lies together, you know, did a lot of bad.
And now here you are, you made it.
Oh, yeah, we still here. You know, we still here.
I introduced myself. I'm Ramona. Ramona Dowd.
Because we had
I said, this made you feel good. Yes, ma'am. He said, yeah, Ramona. I'm here for it.
I am in gratitude to everyone who made it here today, who are celebrating multiple things at once. Multiple things at once. And I'm gonna get my nephews. Y'all come through, y'all come in. Y'all did a wonderful job. Come and join us. Yes. So we are celebrating the 76th year of this man here, James G. Bennett, a man who has deeply shaped my life and love for art. His mama, which you'll see, he'll point her out in a second. She shaped him, and he'll talk more about his life. My daddy has to create, to live, to breathe, literally, to be functional in the world. This event is about how special he is in the lives of his children, grandchildren, siblings, family, longtime friends, fellow artists, and community. He is generous with his heart. Even at times, he does not have a penny. Seriously, he would just find a way to be. We're also celebrating a method that has been employed throughout centuries. Home art salons. In the Harlem Renaissance and in Black creative districts throughout history, including Old Walnut Street, here in Louisville, or in the 1990s, if you remember Eugene Thomas and C.J. Fletcher, black artists, and the black arts movement in the 1960s. This is how creatives would meet each others and would meet supporters and would meet funders. Home art salons are crowded, imperfect, and highly intimate spaces. There is a risk, but it is a powerful tool of connection and value creation. We are celebrating this legacy of creating spaces of belonging, discovery, and rejuvenation. We are also celebrating a Black Louisville-based art collective that have contributed greatly to the documentation of human life in Louisville, Kentucky, using an art form, photography, credited to have been designed starting in 1717. And then when you look at the history, it's a very sequential, step-by-step, where only white men have been accredited to the invention of the camera and photography, which that makes me want to dig even deeper about who else possibly was a part of that history. Now we're looking at that invention around photography. What art forms were, how is the unique equipment and vision going through the lives of Black photographers and Black artists? What does that look like? What are the themes? How is the construction, the compositions for Black photographers in the 1930s, in the early 1900s, and also in the eyes of the people who are going to be speaking today on the panel? What spirits are in the room? Because the cool thing is, the photographers we are talking to today knew photographers who were in the 1940s. They knew photographers back in the day that knew photographers from the Reconstruction. Like we're speaking to history. We're looking at how it shaped the photographers that you all grew up with. If you really go deep and you remember those artists from back in the day, you saw them, you didn't understand all the things they were doing with their camera, but they were there and they were a possibility of who you can be here on this land. So that's also who we're bringing into the room. And how should we keep and honor these images and artists now and in the future? We are also celebrating the power of family and multi-generational connections. We are celebrating the power of art to heal, cultural pride, and collective dreaming of a more just future. We are celebrating the small moments in life. Thank you all for witnessing. That is a power. Thank you for witnessing. By witnessing, you're engaging with the deeper deep, something that does not always have English words to describe it. To end my welcome, I will sing a song you have heard before. You've heard the song many times. It was created in 1779 by a white man who was engaged in the slave trade. During a horrific storm, he decided to become a Christian, and he later became an abolitionist and a religious leader. Now I'm giving y'all that context. As I sing this song that might be familiar, I invite you to explore in your mind, body, spirit, how the lyrics can relate to my father, how it can relate to this phenomenal panel of Black photographers based in Louisville, the history of photography and film in the African diaspora, Black family life, Louisville's culture, history, and all of our humanity at once.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch
but now I see. Right. So just for, and that at the context, learning about the history of that song was like, what? So just for house rules, restrooms is upstairs. I hope you notice that something you're gonna see often in the house are altars that my father have made throughout the years. So you will see a triangle formation that he naturally repeat. And when I was little, I would try to move something off the table. He's like, no, don't, no, that's how it is. So you'll learn more about his creative expression. And so now I have the pleasure of introducing my dear, dear friend, Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald Jr., you may come so they can see you, is an award-winning Black filmmaker with a penchant for crafting stories that bloom from a deep-rooted curiosity about love, and love for Black people. His art practice is as sprawling as the American South and encompasses writing, filmmaking, music, collage, painting, and other expressive forms. He is developing works that explore Blackness in never before imagined social and cultural contexts. His work centers Black men and boys, and he is committed to an image-making practice that orients Black people towards healing. Fitzgerald is a curator and programmer at Hyphen Film Center, whose mission is to engage, enrich, and educate diverse audiences through innovative cinematic arts exhibition while reducing social barriers to participation. Yes. His empathic space-making abilities have produced once-in-a-lifetime experiences at the intersection of cinema, exhibition, and community building. Hyphen Film Center proudly serves the city of Louisville. And is currently planning its third season. Fitzgerald is a disabled veteran who served honorably to include combat tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. He is a proud member of Phi Beta Sigma fraternity. Yes! He lives in Louisville, Kentucky with his vinyl, books, and sneakers, and a steady growing collection of postcards. He really enjoys reading when I'm nervous. Kiese Layman, of course. And James Baldwin. He digs Miles Davis, flamenco sketches, and regularly sends handwritten letters to the homies. Welcome, Fitzgerald!
I don't think I've ever had that good of an introduction. Before we get started, what I do want to say is it is a pleasure, and I don't use that word lightly, it is a pleasure to be in a space where I feel like Black love really does flow in abundance. As I walk around your house and look at the images, look at the things you painted, just look at the care in which you've expressed Black existence, like I can tell that you are a person that has experienced a lot of love in your life. And so y'all showing up to be here and be a part of this conversation is just a testament to that. So it is a pleasure to be here. It is a pleasure to be in conversation with you brothers. And I really just want to talk to y'all about y'all lived experiences and how y'all came to making images, how y'all came to being art practitioners, and how y'all see yourselves as Black men, because that is a part of, I think, how you move through these spaces is your identity. And I again haven't been in very many rooms where I'm sitting across 3 Black elders who are still here to be able to tell and talk about the things that they experience. So again, Dr. Giovanni, thank you for having me. And if it's okay with y'all, we'll get into it. Yeah. All right. So first, just an easy question, basic question, because I know y'all less than maybe everybody else in the room. But if you want to just kind of get into like who you are, like who you believe yourself to be, whether that's, you know, father, artist, community, you know, member or whatever.
I'm Clinton Bennett. I'm James Bennett's brother. He's 76. I'll be 75 this year, and as long as I can remember, he's always had a artistic proclivity. When we lived in the West End on Cecil Avenue, my parents had a basement that had a white wall all around it, and JB would paint on the wall. So that's when so he's been doing it all his life. In terms of doing it professionally, we around the early 70s, we started a group called Black Exposure. And what that was, back then they didn't have black models. So we developed a group that was going to expose, train black models and expose them to the community. And that required some photography skills. And so at the time I just got married and I was living at, anybody know Eddie Davis? Eddie Davis lived with his mama, and he lived in the basement, and me and my new wife lived upstairs on the second floor, and his mama lived on the first floor. And Eddie sold me my first camera. It was a Nikon camera. And then he taught me the fundamentals of how to use the camera. And that just sparked my journey in photography. Now JB was already in art, and then I convinced him to extend that to photography. And that's how we got started. We were shooting models, which was a lot of fun. But I always had a full-time job. I was at the time I was in school. I just got out of high school. I got married right out of high school. Back then you did that. I did photography on the side, just shooting the models and promoting the models. And I went to school at night at University of Louisville. And then I got drafted to the Army, and I served in the Vietnam War for 2 years. And I came back out, and I resumed. That's how I got started in photography. And I've always had a love for it all my life. You ask my kids, I've always photographed them doing whatever they were doing. But I've always wanted to do it full time, but I wasn't trained. I went to school to be a social worker, and I eventually became a social worker, and I retired from social work. But I always did photography on the side because I never could make enough money off photography to support myself. But I always admired people who were trained professionally and had the credentials to be a photographer. We were just grassroots photographers. We were just self-taught. Around the 80s, I got into video. And I think we were one of the first ones to start shooting video. I bought me a video camera, and along with shooting photography, I brought this big old video camera that brought a lot of light. It didn't do a whole lot of other stuff, but it did do video. And then once the modeling thing subsided, we began traditional photography like weddings, portrait type stuff. We integrated our photography into social activism. We would cover marches and protests and whatever else was going on in the community. We developed a relationship with Bill Summers. And Bill Summers gave us free advertisement in return for covering any events that he provided in the community. So that gave us a whole lot of exposure. We had our ads blaring on the radio every week, and we were seen in the community. Everybody, and back then, not many people had cameras. So if you had a professional camera, you could get in concerts, any kind of big events in the community. You just show you the camera and you can get in. So we promoted that a lot. So So that's where we are. I eventually retired from social work, and photography is all I do now. And it's really been a journey.
Right. My name is Don Alexander. I'm 76 years old, and I have been into the arts, just not photography, but drawing and some photography. James and I go back. Wow, man, James and I go back to Stephen Foster School in 1957. 1957. So he's part of my family, and Clinton is too. The first time that I picked up a camera was when I was, I guess, around 21, and I had joined the United States Navy with my brother, GT, and I got a Canon SR camera, and we would be out, floating around for 3 weeks, Sixth Fleet, Mediterranean. We were in the Mediterranean Sea. We went to Athens, Greece, Barcelona, Cannes, France, Palma de Mallorca, just different ports of call. And I had my camera all the time, taking shots of everything, Unfortunately, that's all lost. Yeah. But, photography is like a art. A photographer is like a hunter, hunting game. He has to be quick, witted. He has to be, like right on that certain spot, at a certain time, like 5 seconds maybe, boom, get that shot. So, it's a very beautiful, piece of art, work. And going back with, going back with him. So, in the 70s, James would say, man, he would say that he was sometimes shooting for Jet Magazine. So, he had a lot of models coming by, and, shooting, but he always had a, camera all the time. All the time. James Bennett and Eddie Davis, those two guys, wow, they were something else. But like when I was growing up, like in the 50s, going to Young Chapel Church, like one black photographer, I'm trying to think of this guy's name, Signor
Evans?
Signor.
James Sidnor.
Excuse me?
James Sidnor.
James Signor. And that's the first time, that I saw somebody, taking pictures. James Signor passed maybe 20 years ago, but he was an outstanding black photographer. He was something else. See, and besides him, Eddie Davis, James Bennett, Clinton, I'm trying to think of George's name. George Williams, and of course, Bud Dorsey. We've had
Mr. Brown.
Many good black photographies, here in Louisville, Kentucky. Now, what's going on with one of my friends, Eddie Davis, is U of L has come by and has grabbed up Eddie Davis's negatives. He's probably got 5,000 negatives going on. So finally, we saved all of his negatives, you know, in the last 6 months. So all of that should be processed in the next 2 years, and you know, and it's going to be wonderful.
And just to check in with our audience, can you all see, or are you comfortable where you are? Okay.
So you know, like what I was saying, photography, you know, like is a very you know, it's a good form of art, you know. You know, the person who's taking that picture has to be right on that second, you know, for that, you know, shot, you know, that they are looking for. So I'm just glad, you know, that I'm here, you know, and you know, celebrating, you know, JB's birthday, and that's about it for right now. So thank you.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I want to give honor to God first. I mean, like, I want to thank all my friends and family for this gathering. This has blown my mind. I hope that my mother's spirit can see. She started me with art because I am hyper nervous, ADH, okay? And so art and photography slow me down. I get in the zone, all right? But photography, Clinton came to me, he said, I got a camera, man. You gotta get you a camera. This was in 1974. And I lived in Indiana, in Jeffersonville. And I was working for Colgate as a lab tech, okay? And I had models, I had beaucoup models, because I painted them. And he walked in and saw this new lady, and you know, it wasn't nothing to me because I had to paint. And so he said, you need to get you a camera, man. So I went and got down to Click. It's a photography place that's not in existence now, not Murphy's, but was camera Click. It was on Jefferson Street. I bought a Konica, and it was hard to shoot. It wasn't easy. You know what I mean? Just to load the film in there was a trip. You know, and I got into it, and I started shooting, and this girl that I was seeing, she was a Catholic, and she said, go to my priest, and she'll get somebody for you to teach you how to shoot. And who he introduced me to was Bud Dorsey. Bud taught me, he only shot with wide angle, and he taught me the fundamentals. But he's a quiet guy. He don't, you know me, he don't get into no long rap. He taught you, and then I started reading a lot too. I read every photographer in the world I read. And then Nat Brown had a large impact. There was another brother that lived off of Hill Street that Eddie introduced me to, and Eddie at the time taught me the dark room, which was my niche, because that's what I did in the lab. I loved lab because, you know, and when Eddie introduced me, I used to be his assistant. He'd be down in his mother's, you know, and he had his dark room. He was a technician for Career Journal. So he taught me the dark room. And, you know, and I loved it, man. I loved that more than taking pictures. You know what I mean? That was my niche. But art, simultaneously, I was kept on drawing. I draw every day, man. I mean, even when I would I couldn't keep attention in church, so I would draw on the program. You know what I mean? People just look at
this one lady sitting next to her son he was fascinated by me because I just paint, I draw right there. There's one picture right here that I did at the airport. I had, people all around me look at me like I was crazy, but I love drawing because when I get nervous, I draw. And when I'm a biologist. I got a degree in BA in biology. I didn't like to dissect because the formaldehyde and everything made me kind of. And so I said, let me draw while you dissect. I got away with a lot of, but I had to draw a lot of insects and pigs, and we did a lot. I went to a black college. I went to Livingstone College in North Carolina, and on weekends when everybody's partying, guess where I was? I was in the art room. Okay, because that was my getaway, and I guess that was my security blanket too. I couldn't get too many girlfriends, so I said, hey man, I'm going down here and paint, you know what I mean? And that's what I did on weekends. And so they let me paint, and I did a thing for a magazine down there, and I remember I did a picture that I was A design, and so they had they had 2 black colleges down there, and there was a turbulent time then in the 60s. It was crazy. Okay, the campus were tossing every year that they came down, 68 riots. Those kids came down, they had that same spirit, like you had, Black Lives Matter. It was crazy down there. And they were changing this real conservative school because they didn't allow girls to wear pants, no makeup, it was strong, man. And they fought against that. While everybody was protesting about something else, they were protesting about pants. And they got it. They got it. But it took a long time. And so we did this. But I felt photography was an outreach to me. I learned how to shoot without a flash. Every technical thing I could learn about photography, I tried to learn. I tried to shoot stuff like in the middle of the night, like somebody had a wreck, and just the existing light, just like Bud never shot with a flash, okay? And that's the way I tried. But then I had to learn the studio. I had to learn the lights and how to set them up. And then we had people that worked for the press, for WHAS, would give us how the light meter to go across, and and make sure it was reading. Back in those days, we had to do everything ourselves. The light meter, setting up the lights and everything, and so we had to learn that technology. Especially with the models really challenge you, because when they were moving down that runway, you had to get that picture. Like you said, you got to get that second, that picture. And I learned a lot. I had a lot of mishaps, a lot of pictures you don't see because you mess up. You know what I mean? But you learn, because light is strange. Light controls your photography. You know what I mean? I don't care how you. And some nights I get up and I'll shoot with a Sony now. I don't know why I got caught up with a Sony. I left Nikon and Canon alone. I just buy Sony. And Sony had this technology where it followed the eye. Man, that blew me away. I said, wow, man, this is phenomenal, man. The AI is crazy now, man. With photography, and like, I love photography. Like I haven't shot for 3 months, but I told Clinton, I can't shoot no more, man. I'm tired, man. I don't have the energy. But he said, you go to gym every week, why can't you shoot? I said, okay, I will get back in it. And like, I shot a 90-year-old birthday party Friday, and she had a twin sister that was 90 years old. That was a phenomenon. And I had to shoot them. They had more energy than they made me look like I tell you, what inspired me was President Biden. in his union. I said, if he could do it, I could do it. You know what I mean? And so that's what I did. You know what I mean?
Can I ask you one more question?
Yes, sir.
Of all the images you captured, of all the moments you caught, what was the one that stands out? Like, with as massive a body of work as you have, what's the one thing, the one moment?
Okay, I got a picture here, this wedding. It's black, I shot it in black. I like shoot things in black and white. And that left me. That couple, in fact, I still see her. She's older now. I shot that 40 years, 30 or 40 years. I still see her jogging down Broadway with her dog. And I look at her and I said, she was the first one that I had. That's nervous. When you shoot a wedding, you can't be messing up. It's the real deal. I mean, your whole career is on the line. You know what I mean? And you catching moments that are profound. And that wedding was stands. I'll hold that. That's why I put that picture up there, because that wedding, I don't know where it was. I think it's what church it was, but it had a monument, and that couple was so profound, so in love with each other, man. Because that's what I relive weddings every time I shoot them, because they making a covenant and a commitment to each other that blew my mind.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't get it every time, but most of the time I get it. And that wedding, you know, left a lasting impression on me. And that's when I put that picture up there, that wedding. That, you know, I don't know, my art is there, but see, art is a solitary thing with me and God and my spirit, okay? And especially, watercolor was a serious challenge, man. Woo, man, that watercolor scared me. Because at first I was painting the watercolor like you do acrylics. I wasn't using the right paper. And my daughter came to me and said, Daddy, you're not doing watercolor right. And I said, I better learn how to do watercolor. So I went to YouTube, man, and started watching these cats, you know what I mean, paint. And you know.
Taught yourself.
But it took me a long time. Yeah. It took me a long time because you still had to let watercolor just do its thing, then dry and come back. You got to do layers, and I like the layer part because it reminded me of the Photoshop app. I worship it. Okay, and then I got involved with GIMP. I don't know if you heard of GIMP before. It's Linux. Ubuntu is free, and it's similar to Photoshop, but it's more in depth. And you had to learn it, because I do digital art too. You know, I love digital art, you know what I mean? And so, like, watercolors because I've been painting with acrylics for years. Then this girl I used to go with, I have to say, Alicia opened, she was an art teacher, and she quietly opened me up to oil. And oil is almost like sculpture to me. It's so thick, and you can do a lot of things with it, you know what I mean? And I felt like it was better than acrylics to me, you know what I mean? Acrylics I've been messing with for years. But oil, you can change it. It don't dry for 2 or 3, a week or 2. You can go and change what you want, you know what I mean? But oil had a different effect on me. And she showed me how to paint with oil. And then she took me to Trinidad. Then she took me to Grenada. And that blew my mind, okay? I started seeing, I didn't go to Africa like Clinton. Clinton went to Nigeria, my daughter went to Ghana, and I envied them. The only reason I didn't go to these places because I was afraid about my ticker. I didn't know if my heart would take those high, and they said it wouldn't. But when I went to Panama once, I thought I was going to have the big one right there, that church. I said, oh shoot, I'm going to die. But what it was, I hadn't taken my medicine. Yeah, I had to take my medicine, man. And I made an excuse, because this one preacher that I shot for, he was a bishop over a lot of African countries, and he wanted me to document his life, you know, and I couldn't go. I told him I couldn't go because my heart wouldn't take it. But Clinton went. He went a month in Nigeria, which I highly envy him. He got some serious. He's like Bud. Bud and him had some pictures that blew my mind. Now my daughter went to Ghana and Senegal.
With Rich Kids International.
Yeah, and they both, you know, like I wanted to go all over the world. I was like him. I wanted to do it. I met him early. He came back from the Navy, and I envied him. He could paint, he could draw. He done been all over the world with his camera, and he lived in Village West. At that time, Village West was an exclusive apartment, brand new area. You know what I mean? I used to go to his house. He had all his friends, and I said, "Damn, man, that's wild, brother." You know what I mean? He's been all over the world with this. And then, you know, me and Eddie hung together. You know, I was subordinate to him all the time because he was the master photographer. Him and Bud was the master photographer, and I respected. It was another brother that I can't think of that was over them. He lived on Hill Street. He was into a strange religion. The Church of David. Anyway, he was older than we were. And that Brown talked quick, cause see, we used to hang at a photography place on Market Street that we got our stuff done every day. And Brown would be in that Brown, Senior Night Brown would be in there. And he would teach you. You asked him a question about photography, he would take you to another level. What was the name of that place, man, that we used to hang at?
Gatchell's.
Huh?
Is it Gatchell's?
Gatchell's. Oh man, all the photographers hang in there. And another place we heard that was they hang around like you get the what's the name? It's on Frankfurt Avenue now. Chuck Rubin.
Yeah.
Chuck Rubin gave me a lot. One time I'm going to New York, man. He said, "Hey, try this camera out." He let me take a camera to New York and shoot and try it out. I came back, I bought that thing. I enjoyed it, man. He gave me a Nikon 300. That 300 was complicated, but I loved it. I don't have 3 of them. I kept buying the same camera because I loved it. You know what I mean? I couldn't find it. You know what I mean? You buy the body, and the body's still worth a lot of money if you go on the line. And I said, man, this camera. And I'll tell you another camera I love, the twin reflex. Because see, what it was, one time I was going through some old pictures that my cousin gave me. She lived down the street of my dad. We left him when I was 10 years old. Okay, and so we had to, you know, it was 3 boys. We had to do our thing ourselves. He had a twin reflex. I saw him. I said, my dad was a photographer. I said, dang, I never knew that. You know what I mean? And he was holding this big old camera, which I loved. I loved the 2 1/4. You know what I mean? That thing.
Format.
Oh, man, it was phenomenal, man. But anyway, I ain't gonna take everybody's time. I can go on and on about photography. But I tell you, the 3 people that helped, Frank Stanley and his brother and Mr. Summers. Summers would send us out. I said, what a radio station need with photography? You can't see it. You know what I mean? But he would advertise things on his radio, and to document that, he have us use our models to hold the product, and they sent it to the company that we were advertising on the radio. And he had us to shoot all his concerts. But he had Sunshine Production with Porter. Porter, you know, Old Man Porter, they bought concerts to Louisville. So document, they had us to shoot those concerts. And I shot a lot of concerts. In fact, I can't hear her now for that. Because they were so loud, you couldn't hear it for 2 or 3 days. So I burnt the little fibers in my my middle ear. But I shot a lot of concerts. I went to a lot. I ate with them. Boy, just take this neighbor. One time upstairs in the garden house, they had an after party thing, and I had to shoot it with Earth, Wind, and Fire, and the room was moving around, and you know, they had the revolving room, and I laid my camera down, I couldn't find it. You know, the room was going around, and I was so embarrassed because you know that big lead guitar, what's his name? His brother played the bass. He, oh man, that was a trip, man. I have met a lot of entertainers, you know what I mean? It was phenomenal. It was the photography introduced me to Jesse Jackson. I mean, we were like in the same room. I got pictures of Jesse Jackson when he was young, man.
Master P.
Master P.
Oh man, Master P. Master P got me, and he sent me to New York shoot his concerts, man, for his kids, man. I said, I shot a thing. They called me and said, "Can you come and shoot?" Because you know, half time I wasn't doing nothing if I wasn't, you know, working in the lab. And they had me, Master P. I was his private photographer for a minute. You know what I mean? And so, I don't know. I really, you know, photography had a serious impact. Now, when I got married and had kids, I kind of slowed down a lot. You know what I mean? But I still painted. I still, you know, at that night shift. And then one time, well, to go to school, I had to work straight third shift. And I was tired all the time. I mean, serious, man. I mean, but I still took pictures, but it was rough. You know what I mean? That shift work is not made for people, man. You know what I mean? It's not, you know, I don't know where they got that mess from. You know what I mean? They tried to stop it. They said, well, we'll shut it down. But see, we made polymers. And that's what most of our pictures are from. I paint on plexiglass. Okay? And it's a straight, like that picture we had with the hands, and that's a TV screen. I paint on TV screens. Let's see, that picture behind you is a TV screen. I paint on, when people get rid of projection screens, I take them apart and paint them. That's crazy. Now, I got in a big argument with Dr. Bob Douglas. He came in here and he said, "You can't paint on no glass, it'll mess up." I said, "I've been doing it for years." You know what I mean? Then he didn't know that I put a coat over it. We made paint. So I made a clear paint. We didn't do paint that had color. It was the pure paint. Because when you buy paint, it's like 20% of emulsion, that's what we call it. And they put water, DI water in it. But I got the stuff that was 100%. And I covered most of these pictures with that cover. And so it was like a enamel that you couldn't mess up the picture, you know. And like that lady with the baby back there, that's plexiglass. Pictures up here, plexiglass. And I got pictures in my basement that are plexiglass. And I love plexiglass. And I saw, we had an extruder, and after I did my samples, I would create all kind of stuff with the plastic. It dries real quick, it's hot. It's like 1,000 degrees that extruder work. But I learned how to mess with emulsion and polymers. Polymers were my life. And it's the world because it's oil based. We used the crude oil and we made plastic. Everything in this room is oil based. That's why we can't give up all that quick because our life, our paint, everything that we use practically is all our glasses. It's a residual oil. You know what I mean? And so that's what we made. You know what I mean? And we call it like a dentist. He worked with methacrylate, and he had to put your fillings in. That's what, you know what I mean? It's toxic. I don't know how we get away with that, man. We put toxin in our mouth. I love everything, you know, because it has a residual problems, but I don't want to get into that. You know, she's a chemist. She knows what I'm talking about. You know? But anyway.
And we no, you gonna hear more of the good news of as he's gonna take you on a house tour.
Oh.
But I'll give it to yes, you have. There's more in store and there's food. So yes. The QA, just one or two questions.
So yeah, we'll open it up for a couple of questions from the audience, and I can bring the mic. Just raise your hand if you have a question.
I have a question, but I don't need the mic.
Okay.
So your name? I'm Ramona Dowling, and friend, and we heard James what your favorite image was. I wanted to hear from the other two. What was your favorite image when you think about all the things you've shot? What was the thing that's most memorable in your mind? Are you most proud of?
Well, just like JB, weddings is what moved me the most. At one point, I was doing about 30 weddings a year, so we did a lot of weddings because I've always approached photography as a business. It was never really an art thing for me. It was just a business to make money. And weddings was our biggest money maker. And just to say this, the unique thing about photography is that, particularly in the 70s and 80s, and even now, it's unregulated. Photography is totally unregulated. It's based on your talent and people, word of mouth, and if you're not good, people won't call you anymore. And so there's no oversight boards that will legitimize you, give you a license. It's all, anybody can grab a camera and say I'm in business, and you're in business. So that's my perspective on it.
Wow, that's pretty. Let me see. One of my favorite pictures and moments was shooting actually standing by the Parthenon in Athens, Greece, shooting black and white Tri-X film, like of the Parthenon, sitting right, like in that corner, you got the columns and, 5,000 years ago, and shooting that, yeah, sure was, black and white Tri-X,
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Any more questions? Maybe one more?
Yeah, I'm GT Alexander. Don's my brother, my big brother. And Clinton and JB, we go from there. I know you guys have done a lot of community shooting. Because you got the history of the black movement, of Louisville, and other places. Have y'all categorized everything? And if you categorize all these history-making moments and eras, what do you plan to do with that? I would love to see some of those days.
Well, a lot of things have changed. You know what I mean? The phone changed us. The cell phone it changed. But a lot of people thought, your photography dead now, but the camera, you can do stuff with the iPhone, but they taught iPhone at Louisville. A lot of reporters had to learn how to use the iPhone. But it's like you use the camera. And after I turned 65, I went to U of L free. So I took a media class that taught me Final Cut. That's an out that this just blows my mind because I got into that. Right now I shot this thing Friday. I can't wait. I dropped it down in the track, and I can't wait to get in there and scrub it
you know what I mean, and get into it. That's a video. Man, that's a whole, you know, like art, video, and stills. Cause I'm gonna mess with all those stills. I shot 300 something stills as this old lady, but I'm gonna go through there and edit. I don't care how good they look, I'm gonna edit. I'm gonna do something to it. I'm gonna tinkle with it. Because, you know, like, I get up at 6 in the morning, I would have to put a timer on because I won't eat. I just stay with that situation. And then he's kind of cat. You shoot something one day, he wanted the next day. Working for the newspaper again. I said, we don't work for the paper no more. You know what I mean? Give us some time to edit this stuff. You know what I mean? But Clinton believes in getting it out. He get up, he stay up all night. He shoots stuff and have it ready. I got it ready and he puts it on the web page. And I said, oh my God.
Daddy,
You know,
Daddy,
yeah.
what you gonna do with all your 40 years of photography that you got right now? Not next week.
What we did, me and Chubani got together because people started asking me for my negatives. And Chubani said, no. I will buy them for you. They are ours. They are mine. So for 3 months, I scanned every neck because my friend back here at Captain Spaulding told me, you got a bunch of negatives on my desk. I want you to come and get those. He had about 3,000 something, you know, of everything. She want everything that I shot scanned. I scanned it all, put it on a hard drive, and handed it to her.
So then Javon has the answer
And
to
so
that question.
she has practically everything I got.
So, and that's an emerging question because we have amazing institutions that have been building up on the photography by Black photographers based in Louisville. So U of L, they're doing some work with the archives. We have the Louisville Story Program here doing years of work with photographers, and it's expanding. And we are honored to have John Cherry here, continuing that legacy. We have Marvin Young here, continuing that legacy. We had Adrian, and do you do photography as well?
I do video.
Yeah, say your name, please.
Garrett. My name's Garrett Logan.
Garrett, we have Garrett Logan here. There's a legacy, and of course Fitzgerald and his work in filmmaking and just all this talent here. So it's an emerging question of what do we do with photographs, and also for people who do not consider themselves as photographers, but they have archives of very intimate moments of Black life on material that can be destroyed in their homes. So just that is the power of image to capture life. We are wrapping up this part of the session. I'm giving it back to Fitzgerald in celebration. But we're celebrating.
Yeah.
That's okay. We celebrate and clap for our panelists and our facilitator. Miss Nubia Bennett, who's gonna give our blessing, just any words. Yes.
I didn't know it was a blessing.
Yes, and James, if you wanna join her, just saying something to Daddy.
Oh, well, I gotta come out?
So they can see you on the camera.
Oh, where am I going? Okay. Well, I just wanted to say, first of all, I want to thank Giovanni, but, she's wandering off, for curating this audience because, and keeping that historical practice alive. Because in conversation with Giovanni yesterday in preparation for today, we just kind of talked about how we always talk about how things aren't happening in Louisville because we're in Louisville, but I'm sure every city has that conversation about how things aren't happening in places. And we think, especially when we think about art and how it can be inaccessible to many, but people keep doing it. And my comparison with, the thing that came to mind was, in this celebration of art, we're looking for these greenhouses that have been growing in people's homes. Because when I think about, the work that my dad has done many, many years taking pictures. Of course, you know, he talks about this wedding picture as the epitome of his shots, but as you walk through his house, there'll be a picture of like Muhammad Ali, no big deal, right? Or like, if you go watch the slideshows, you'll see like Barack Obama walking in the J's. You'll see the fact that we had to remind him that Master P flew him out to New York the next day to take pictures of his daughter, like things like that, like those historical moments. But not just that, but how when COVID hit and everybody's world fell apart and everybody was like, what are we gonna do today, next week? What day is it? Because we don't know, because we can't leave our house. And he painted every day, every single day. There was another painting every single day. And it just reminds me of how we've had to grow greenhouses and where other people who have access can have gardens and gardens of work, right? Because if we're growing something, it's gardens and gardens. And greenhouses matter too. So I was really excited that we got to come into this greenhouse and explore, and as Giovanni just expands just this idea of exposing Black art across generations, how we get to see more greenhouses. Because we are celebrating you all today, but there are so many more. And that's not exclusive. The cool thing is that's not exclusive. It is, but it's not, because we're not excluding. We're just watching these greenhouses turn to gardens, and I think that's really, really beautiful work. So thank you all. I'm thanking everybody, because we got so much talent in this room. I'm just like, oh man, I'm like, thank you. But I felt like that is such a gift, Giovanni, for you to curate this space, to celebrate 76 years of art and Black love and Black life and just Black community building. So that's all I got, but thank you.
Yes.
That was beautiful.
Gotta say the camera.
Okay, my fault. Thank you for your contributions, each one of you. Y'all are walking encyclopedias. Y'all have history for decades, and you've been in these streets documenting Louisville and beyond, and we appreciate y'all. From Black Exposure, Nubia mentioned the slideshows that we have in this house, and y'all make sure y'all definitely check them out. You will see Daddy had Afeni Shakur. You've said Barack Obama. There's countless people, but there's also countless people in the community. And like I said, just thank you. Happy birthday, Daddy. I've seen your output during this pandemic was something special to behold. The experimentation, the dedication, when he's serious about YouTube learning. Yes, I mean, there was one time I came back from New York and he was reading 6 books at once, and he was just locked in on, I am learning, I'm watching exhibits from artists, random Kansas City, like he'll do different regions just to say, okay, they're doing this over here. I'm checking out Instagram. I'm checking out what the Instagram community's doing. I'm checking out what the YouTube community's doing. I'm checking out this random exhibit in London. I'm checking out what they're doing in Africa. I'm checking out across the board. His curiosity with his craft, the mastery of his craft, decades in photography, decades into acrylics, then dabbling into watercolors and oil, and connecting with other artists and just, you do this, let me experiment with this style. Listening to his daughter, who is an award-winning artist herself, and what she's done in New York, and that push and pull and just try new things. That like he's taking risks at 76. He's done digital art. He was playing with NFTs. I got him on that, and he was like, "Fuck it, let me try." so like, just who does that? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I love his spirit. I love his soul. I love his ingenuity as an artist and a photographer. Uncle Clinton, y'all been rocking for forever, and you're a master of your craft as well. And the love. When you say Uncle Clinton's nephew, you James' son, like the love he gets in the community. And I'm not sure if he spoke on it because I've been ripping around and doing things, but he taught art in the community as well. When I was in high school, or going into when I was at U of L, he was doing community art teaching just for the humble, and he has people in this that he's educated one-on-one in the community that he did just for the love. So I'll wrap it up with that. Happy birthday! Thank you all for being here, all of you for being here. And this was a dope, intimate thing, and we're honoring what they used to do in the Harlem Renaissance. We're keeping that alive, what we've done here today, and we have a lot more to show you, and we're gonna eat up in a little bit.
All right, everybody clap for Jason. We have a special person who will have something special to share with you too. And we have Stan Swarwell, and he's gonna share some words to Daddy, to Don, and Uncle Cliff.
All I can say is, man, this is an honor. This is an honor. I wish you a happy 76th birthday, and I'm gonna selfishly wish you many, many decades more, because I need you. Alright, and I'm gonna tell you what you always tell me. Hang in there, young man. Hang in there, young man. I want to thank you for being a blessing, for blessing me with that amazing daughter of yours. Had it not been for your artistic genius and being that beacon of light and light in her world, we would have probably never met. And for that, I will always honor you for that. You never know who is on your path, who's watching, but I just want to tell you that my first time meeting you, the only thing you said to me was, "Oh my God, he's black." Okay? And I love that. I love that. I will never, ever, ever, ever forget that. All right. And I also remember when Ananda was first born, you took that little car of yours, and you and your brother in there and rode across the mountains to come see us. That meant the world to me. That went, when I say that, I mean wholeheartedly. It meant the world to me. All right. All the encouraging words that you have given me about staying pure and walking my journey in my art, man, has never fell on deaf ears ever. I will always honor you again for that. Hang in there, young man. Hang in there, young man. Oh my gosh. I've observed how wonderful of a friend and brother you are with your crew, Uncle Clinton, Jack Scruggs, and Eddie. Man, I wish to have that for myself one day. Hang in there, young man. I'm appreciative of that long third shift work that you did to provide for your family. What an honorable man you are. I love that about you. Your spirit, you've always remained positive, even in some really crazy situations. You know, and I don't know if it's your hearing or just your brilliance. Either ignoring grace that people try to bring you bullshit. Okay? I'm working on that. I'm working on that. All right? And regardless to what path we travel, you know, be it together or separate, I will always love you and your family and that young woman that you blessed me with. I will always honor her. I wouldn't be where I am today if it weren't for you and your family. So I must tell you again, hang in there, young man. I'm thankful for your perspectives and your perseverance. My God, man, hang in there, young man. You've been more of a father to me than my own. I'm incredibly thankful for you. Hang in there, young man. So I'm going to conclude with returning some of the best advice that you have given me, and that is, hang in there, young man.
Thank you so much. If y'all can give a clap for us. Daddy, if you can blow.
Well, 1 second, we're gonna let them in real quick.
Okay, here. Y'all come and have. Daddy. Thank you, Sam.
That was so funny.
All right, thank you.
For your wisdom.
All right, so we are gonna once we have more families settle in, we're gonna say happy birthday and he's gonna blow the candle. Hey, baby. All right, 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you.
Cha, cha, cha.
Happy birthday to you.
Cha, cha, cha.
Happy birthday, dear Happy birthday to you. Yay! All right, house tour. If you follow Daddy, Daddy has a mic and he'll go around. Otherwise, there's food in the kitchen. And there's a system in there where you get your plate.